We are in the middle of a gym.
We are actually in the middle of a gym right now. But this is what you got to do. I mean, you're a busy man with a busy schedule.
So
This is what I got to do to squeeze in a podcast episode with you. I got to get you in Vegas.
Get you right in the middle of a gym.
In the middle of it. I mean, listen. Camp Rhino. I almost called it Rhino Club. Camp Rhino. You almost call it Rhino Club. It was an amazing shoot today. First and foremost, I mean, the man who needs no introduction, Mr. Jujimufu. I appreciate you sitting down, chopping it up with me.
Thanks.
It's been, I mean, just for me, I've been a fan for years. So let me preface it a little bit. I've been a fan for years, even before. I think the first time I actually met you, was at the Arnold in Ohio when I was filming with Kai, and you just bumped into us on your way out. You were filming, doing your thing. And I told you, I said, yo, I have to say, I got to fangirl a little bit. I have to say that I've been watching you since Nuclear Summer 4. And
wow.
You looked at me and you just went, can I just give you a hug?
That's a throwback. It's 2011, man.
Yeah, man. I used to watch you, Antoine. You guys used to, when I first got into bodybuilding and I first got into just trying to be a student and learn everything that I could learn and just be diligent in what I was doing and spending the right time on the right things in the gym and outside. I used to watch John Meadows a lot. I was a huge fan of John as well. I mean, it was just, I know it's a tough subject for all of us that were close to him, and you were definitely closer to him than I was.
Can't ever look at cream or rice the same.
I can't go into Trader Joe's and I think about him going into the outside edge and talking about kefir milk and everything. But you guys were really a foundation for me in learning about bodybuilding, and you obviously were more early on in the bodybuilding side. I think just from hanging out with Antoine, you could talk about that as well.
Yeah. Well, first, I'd like to thank you for having me on. I asked him. I wanted to be on your broadcast. I was like, I love it. You know, I met him through Arnold and the Arnold and expos and stuff you were working. I was just like, just hitting it off. I was like, this guy's fucking cool. I really like this guy, and we just became friends.
I appreciate it. I know that good energies kind of just, they gravitate towards one another.
Yeah, it does.
So I was just telling you prior, when I work with people, when I'm friends with people, it's all about good vibes. That's all I want. I want it to be clean energy, because when it comes down to it, that energy, the people that surround you, it like leeches onto you. It's on you. So if you have negative and bad people around you, it's gonna bring you down. And we got so much stuff that we have to do in a day, and so many things that we have to do for our brands, other brands that you're affiliated with. Can't have bad people around.
No, yeah. You feel it. But we were talking about you used to compete in bodybuilding.
Long time ago.
Yeah, you shredded as hell. You showed me some pictures and stuff, so you know what it's like to go through it.
Yeah.
You go through a full contest prep and experience it for what it is. So I've always been interested in bodybuilding, you know what I mean? But I did all the other sports too, so I don't need to go over my background. Most people know it. If they don't, they can just find out. It's just go down the rabbit hole. I've been training for 25 years. So, but I only did a couple bodybuilding competitions the last couple of years, and it wasn't until I went through the preps, the actual, like, when you diet down like they do, you don't know how, you can't empathize with the bodybuilder the same way. And that was one of my major goals. It wasn't like to get a pro card or to do this, or it was, I want to understand them better. I want to understand bodybuilders better. And after I had gone through a full prep, I was like, now I know why their house is a mess during prep, why their face looks the way it does, why they talk slower, why they don't do a million other things, you know, and run a million businesses and do all this crazy stuff outside of bodybuilding sometimes, because they're just too tired, you know. And you've done your own prep, and you know what it's like when you get there near the end. It's like, holy shit, now I understand what they're going through. And then you understand how they feel when other people judge them. So I just think it was a great way of just understanding them better, you know. And then just, I feel for them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel for them. And we're at the Olympia weekend, the peak of bodybuilding preps, you know?
Yeah, the show.
The show.
The show. We're in town. We're in Vegas. If you don't know, now you know. And you know what? I think what's also really cool about the way that your fitness has progressed, you were more into the calisthenics, which you still are, by all means. I mean, if you haven't, come on, if you've seen the man do a split with chairs and lifting things over his head, you got to be able to have some flexibility, and you got to be able to actually take care of your body on a stretching and warm up mobility type of movement. Not everybody can do that.
It feels good.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like,
feels good.
Yeah. So, going from tricking and doing all the flips and all that stuff to progressing into a lot of powerlifting type movements, and which I think you always did.
Mm-hmm.
You were always super strong and progressing in your lifts, to doing preps and doing bodybuildings shows. Obviously, Antoine had an impact on that, and he helped you a lot doing that.
Yeah, he had a lot of neat little tricks for me. Some useful tips for you guys listening from pro bodybuilders, like stuff you just can't find anywhere else. One of them was near the end of my prep when I was really tired from the diet and the calories were really low and I wasn't feeling very well at all. It was like, after every meal, sit in a recliner and take a nap. If you don't fall asleep, that's okay. Just sit there for 10 or 15 minutes with your eyes closed after every meal. That's like 6 meals a day. So if you think about it, it's like 6 times a day you're going to sit in a chair. I was like, this is ridiculous. It's like, but I had no other option because I was literally drowsy all day long. I felt like crap. So I started doing that. And then a few times I noticed I would actually fall asleep. And a few other times, I noticed that even if I did not fall asleep, I felt better. And then the other thing I noticed, which is really cool, and I was like, this is weird, and I had to ask Antoine about it, was, why do I feel tighter and I look drier after I take those naps? Like, it's 15 minutes. Like, I look at my physique, I feel like I got a little pump. It made no sense. He was like, yes, that's normal. That's what happens. I was like, that's so weird, but where are you going to read about that?
Is it the digestion? Is it just pushing the blood flow
I
through
don't
better?
know what it is, but I experienced it, and he said he echoed it. He says, yes, I noticed the same thing. I was like, that's a good thing. That's a healthy thing. Another thing he told me was, like, when you do your check-ins for bodybuilding, you're not just looking at your weight, right? So you do your check-ins in the morning, you get your weight and you go, and it's like you don't want to drink any water. So like you're going through the mandatory poses. You have to keep everything the same, the lighting, the position, everything. I'm like, as an inexperienced person, sometimes I do it after cardio and sometimes before. I was like, this is inconsistent, because when I do my check-ins after cardio, this is literally 20-minute different time periods, 20 minutes before, 20 minutes later, after I finish cardio, my body looks completely different. I'm like, how come my physique looks okay? Wait a minute, I have to keep this consistent. But something was weird about doing it in the morning. I'm like, my joints hurt and everything feels wrong, and it's just like I'm out of breath in a weird way. Something felt wrong, and I asked Antoine about it, and he started describing, yes, and you're dizzy and you see purple stuff and everything hurts in your shoulders. Like, oh wait, so this is normal? He said, yes, that's normal. I was like, okay, good. Now I know that it's normal. I can accept it. But see, there's a lot of little things like that I learned from him that were really cool. I mean, not just those two things. I can't think of anymore, but it's like weird things like, is this normal or not? I don't know if this is normal. And then yes, it might be a normal thing, but it's also something you wouldn't know unless a pro bodybuilder told you, like, do that.
It's going through the experiences.
Yeah.
It's until you experience it yourself, and then you compare and contrast with other people. You're like, have you seen this? Have you felt this? Yes. Okay. Done.
Exactly.
Now I feel like I'm not crazy. That's exactly what it feels like.
You feel like you're not crazy and like it's okay. Like, okay, so this is the right thing to do. Okay, now I'm not doing something wrong as well. So
it's wild. It's a wild journey.
It is.
It's an ever adapting and changing journey. And so I actually want to ask you too. The first thing I want to ask you, because I know you had said that you would say this on the podcast. Yeah. How many people know where the name Juji come from? Where the name Juji come from?
Okay, well, I'm 37. Am I 37? I'm 37. I'm 37. Sam's over there. She's like, yes, you're 30. Yes. I'm 37. I made that name up when I was 13 years old. So what is that? It's like 24 years ago. Can I do math? Yeah. I was a kid, and I had a screen name online like John Call 13. And I was like, I don't want to be John. I have to change my screen name because I'm 14 years old now. I turned 14. I was like, I don't want to be John Call 14, because the number was my age. Yeah. I was like, I'll make up a cool name. I want a cool name. So I started like trying to type different things. And everything was taken. All the cool names were taken. And after half hour, I had the insight as a 14-year-old kid to go pull back and go, I am wasting half an hour trying to create a screen name. Like, fuck it. I'm just going to like Jujimufu. Just type some crap out real quick and it logged me in. I'm like, well, I guess I'm Jujimufu. I just didn't want a name with a bunch of numbers, because if you picked a name someone else had, you were like, Goku 3,450. Well, 300,450.
Now I'm really not original.
Now I'm really not original. Piccolo. I was picking some DBZ names. I was like, Jujimufu. Okay, no one has that one. I got that one now. It's mine. And then I just started communicating with people online as that name, and I got stuck with it. Never changed it.
That was it. That's perfect. That's
it's a great, because it's like people understand, like, oh, okay, so it's like you're not trying to come off a certain certain way. It's like, no, it's a dumb kid that made a dumb name real quick when he was frustrated. And I just never bothered to change it because I don't care about how people see,
Yeah, screw it.
The other thing is the name is so dumb. It's Jujimufu. It's such a stupid name. It's like, it kind of levels me. It keeps my head from getting too big. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't be a badass with a name like Jujimufu.
Debatable.
I could be okay, but I can't be like the man. Jujimufu. Oh, okay, yeah. It's deflating
this is the
way
internal
possible.
battle in his mind. I think he's the man. I think he's badass. So
Yeah. Well, you Nikki Rizzles.
Nicky Rizzles.
It's kind of a fun name.
Yeah. So I guess because we're sharing nickname stories now. So the way that Nicky Rizzles started was I actually have two last names. I have Rizzo, which is my mother's last name, maiden last name.
Yeah.
And I have Puya, which is my father's last name. Exactly. That's the face that everyone makes. No one has any idea. And now it will be out there. So Rizzo was added to my birth certificate when my mom just was, let me just slip this in there type of situation, because I wound up getting raised by my mom.
Yeah.
Raised by my mother and raised by her father. I have a good relationship with my dad. I talk to him all the time. But as people on the podcast know, my dad has MS. I don't really get to see him a lot because to get down to where he is about an hour away. And I call him every day. I speak to him. Everything's good with him. But after high school, I wanted to stick with Rizzo. I grew up with my grandfather. He's a huge influence in my life. It's his necklace that he made. He was a jeweler, served in the Korean War.
Yeah.
I owe a lot to that man. So everyone started calling me Rizzo, Rizzo, Rizzo. That was kind of how it went through. I'm at a party in college, and my buddy couldn't get my attention. He goes, yo, Nick. He goes, Puya, Rizzo. He goes, Nicky. He goes, Nicky Rizzles. I went, oh. I said, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
He's like, I guess that's your new nickname, man. I guess that's what we're going by.
That's what you responded to.
I responded to it. It caught my ear. It was destiny ringing me from the future. And all of a sudden, I started being called Nicky Rizzles. And to take it a step further, because I thought it was a dumb joke. Like, I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I got my license plate as Rizzles.
Yeah.
So I showed it to my buddy. He's cracking up. Everyone's laughing. That was it. Everybody at Bev's gym, Rizzles. So then when I started doing videos, I said, what am I going to call it? I said, Rizzles Productions, done. So that was it. And then the podcast, Rizzology. So it's just kind of, it's all been.
Rizzology's good. I like that one. That's a good one.
You know what? So the long and short of those stories of that, I had a podcast with a buddy of mine, John Panetti. We did The Voice in Rizzles for years. It was a great show. Love John. It was phenomenal, but just burnt out. So that show ended. I started another podcast with my buddy Tyler. And then after that ended, after a couple of episodes, he just kind of burnt out, didn't want to do it anymore. So I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
My buddy Jamal, who you were saying you see him on a podcast a lot, Jamal asked me to do a podcast with him. And I said, you know what? I can't do another podcast where it's a conjoint name and I got to switch everything and take the RSS feed down and all this stuff. I said, I will make my own show and then I can have everybody on for regular segments. So if you want to come on when Jamal comes on, it's Into the Bat Cave because his nickname is Batman in the fight field and industry.
Yeah.
So I was looking at names. I said, I want to integrate Rizzles somehow into it. Couldn't really think of it. And then I saw ology, which is like the study of.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Rizzology. Done. I put me and the dog. I had an artist do a little graphic of us. Yeah. And I said, you know what? Done deal. And it kind of just stuck. Like you said, they could be dumb names, but it sticks to you. And then it's an identifier for you. Which I actually love it.
It's good, yeah. It's also sometimes it's best when other people give you the name.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it seems to be the thing that people, it makes it okay, I'm good, yeah. At least they're not giving you a really bad name.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Some people have some really shitty
I'm sure they got some bad names for me somewhere out there, but this one's a really good name.
Rizzles is good, yeah. It's awesome.
Let me ask you, going from when you were obviously younger and getting into the calisthenics and the training and the martial arts that you were into, what made you gravitate towards powerlifting? Okay,
so I went from martial arts to tricking, which is the acrobatic stuff, and I found that online. And that's when I saw that for the first time. I was like, that's what I really want to do, because I didn't know it existed until you saw a video of it, And that was a life-changing moment for me when I saw those videos. But what happened was I got into that sport. It was underground, and there was only people sharing it online, like videos online, and that's how I met Antoine Villa. I got into weightlifting because I was smart enough at the time to know, like, all professional athletes in every sport that I can think of lift weights. Tricksters are not lifting weights. if I want an edge, I will lift weights like all professional athletes because tricking is an athletic activity. So I started researching online how to do this, and I was friends with Antoine, who obviously was getting into weightlifting at the same time. And so it's cool to have that camaraderie online with an online friend. And I was a member of a great gym as well. So I started, on tnation.com
Love T-Nation. Shouts to T-Nation.
back in early 2000s. That site was so good, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't looked at it much today. It's probably still pretty decent, but back
Probably
then,
a lot of recycled articles, but
sure, I'm not
great write-ups. I don't mean to interrupt you. Great write-ups from what I've seen as well. There was an article that I couldn't find ever again, but it was on stretching, and I loved it.
Interesting.
Made me feel super warmed up every time
No,
I
I
wanted to do
read
it.
that one.
I got to find
I
it.
didn't read
If
that
I find
one.
it, I'll send it to you.
I would love it. I'm the stretching guy, but I was reading stuff online there, and then I started finding videos of people lifting, and then I started like, oh, people that are serious about lifting weights, which is what I wanted to get serious about to improve my skill set, they do deadlifts and squats. Those are the movements. So I started doing the power lifts too. But the thing is that you need a certain amount of the lift to improve your athletics. And then beyond that, it just takes too much recuperative capacity and it starts taking away from your athletic activity, So when I started lifting weights after a couple years, I peaked in tricking after a couple years. I was so good. But then I kept trying to chase numbers on deadlift and squat, and then it started interfering with my recovery. I was too stupid to figure it out, but I just loved lifting weights, and I was obsessed. I was like, I liked the way I looked too, so I was like taking flexing photos and stuff. So then I just got in the whole like weightlifting, heavy weights, and trying to look really good, and then like doing acrobatic stuff at the same time, So that's kind of how it all kind of came together,
So when you say peaking and tricking, does that mean that the mobility starts to diminish because you're too sore from training?
I wouldn't say the mobility. I would say everything. Like the explosiveness, that's just like you can't recover because you're lifting too much weights. Like
Gotcha.
you're lifting too often. You're lifting too much. The volume's too high of the thing that's supposed to be complementary to the sport. You're not practicing the sport as much as you can because you're lifting weights too much.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Sam? I was getting huge.
You're putting on slabs of muscle.
I started to, but actually I was trying to keep my weight down. So for a long time, maybe almost 10 years, I knew I was at least smart enough to know I got to keep my body weight down. So, but I was still gaining weight because it's kind of hard to. I'm deadlifting 500 pounds at like 19 years old at a sub 200-pound body weight. It's just a kid that doesn't know what he's doing, but he just was hell-bent on getting strong and still throwing acrobatics. So I'd go in and deadlift 405 pounds for reps or something after tricking in the field for an hour and a half, you know what I mean? In the summer of Alabama, this is not normal stuff, but this was normal to me because, like, this is what you got to do. I got to do both, But in my late 20s, I gotten to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm tired of training 2.5 hours a day and I look like a normal guy. Like I wear a t-shirt and everything. I look like a normal person. It's like, I know how to bodybuild. I've been reading stuff online forever. I know you got to do these exercises. I had never done a curl in my life until I was like 26 or 27. I never trained my arms.
I can't say the same.
I never trained my chest.
I was a curl bro from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a late bloomer for the bodybuilding stuff.
Which is amazing. I mean, it's amazing that, with everything that you've accomplished in technically a short amount of time of training a specific way now.
I knew how to do it. I just never did it until I did it. Then I was like, boom, you know what I mean? It's like I knew how to do it all along. I just never did it. But when I was like, I want to look like I lift weights now. I want people to see the muscle. So I started it, and then pretty soon, cashiers are asking me where I work out or how often I work out. And at first, it was pretty cool. Now it's annoying, honestly. It's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I started working out.
Yes, I can lift up all the refrigerators. I get it.
I started working out last week, and it's working out pretty good. Make jokes about it and stuff. But no, it worked out pretty well. But then I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, when you're in your late 20s, I'm not going to be getting any better at the acrobatic stuff. It's too late. I understood like speed diminishes. There's no gymnasts who are getting better in their 30s. You know what I mean? So this is the end game for me. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to be the buff guy that does flips. And that's what I settled with. And then I started doing this and that. And then I was like, and then I got into social media making funny videos, and now
that's what I of course want you to touch on that. One of the best videos I ever saw was you quitting your day job.
Okay, thank you.
I thought that was amazing. Super inspirational. It was exciting. Just as somebody that was watching your videos, I mean, when you don't get to meet somebody face to face, because I never got to meet you at a show or anything like that, it was just obviously through a screen. but you still feel joy and happiness for them.
Yeah.
That was genuine. You were so excited about it, and that's an amazing, monumental feat in your life.
Yeah.
So I would love for you to touch on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was excited about it because I felt like when I did it, I was like, this makes so much sense because so many people are like, chase your passion, jump off the cliff, quit everything and go. I was like, but the way I did it was not that way. I was just like, I worked my job and it was an okay job. It wasn't a terrible job. It wasn't a job that was my passion. It was an okay job. I was like, well, it has enough time for me to do stuff on the side. And I used that time to continue the acrobatics and the tricking and the lifting and the making of the videos online and stuff. And then I was able to, in my free time, because I had it and I had some energy because my job wasn't terrible, to build that on the side. And then I created the businesses, in my free time. I took long lunch hours and stuff and worked out. And then the income from the fitness stuff just got to the point where it exceeded the day job. And then I was like, I just sat on a spreadsheet for 8 hours one day and just did a crap ton of math. And it was tons and tons of pages. And I looked at it, I was like, keeping the day job makes no sense, actually, because I was afraid to quit it. I was frightened.
As most would be and are.
You should be.
Yeah.
You should be. And at the same time, I was like, I don't hate my job. It's okay. I like it, so it felt like a waste to throw away that income. I was like, it feels like a waste to throw away the income. But when I did the math and I saw it on paper, what it was taking away from me growing the fitness business and how much less it was actually paying me, because I was like, I started factoring in like cost of tires, cost of buying this type of meal because I can only eat that type of food because I have to work this job. I was calculating gym membership here at this town when I work. I was calculating all sorts of stuff. And I was just like, the job is paying me 30% less than I thought. And the income's already not that high. So it's like, okay, it's definitely not worth it. It's like that time and that money needs to go back into the fitness business, which is just completely eclipse the income here.
And there's only so much time you can spend on that. Well, even though the day job gave you some flexibility, there's only so many long lunches you can take and energy after a long day at work that you're going to be able to. So you're probably maxed out.
One important thing about maxing out, by the way, and this is related to that. I think this is extremely important, and I think people really need to think about this when they're working a job and they have something else going for them, and they're thinking about quitting their job and they want to pursue something full time. This is what I think. I think that you need to have a job and you need to build the thing on the other side at the same time. Because in order to make a living doing that thing that you want to make a living doing, like full time, it's going to require so much more work than you actually think that you won't know what that amount of work is until you know what it's like to work two jobs. If you can't do that, you're not going to be able to do your thing full time because there's so much more work than just working a day job and doing your thing on the side when you don't have. You see what I'm saying? Like
Without question.
You're building a work capacity there. So instead of like, oh, I need to quit my day job to do my thing full time. No, you do them both at the same time until you earn.
It's a nice sample.
The right to quit your day job because your income from it's a nice sample.
I was in sales. For 10 years. And then my last sales gig, I just had picked the camera up about a year before. I was slammed.
Yeah.
Shoots every weekend, shoots during the week.
During the weekends, you're right.
Just it was
spending your vacation time doing work.
I spent my vacation hours to film Flex Lewis.
I was spending all my vacation hours to go to expos to stand and meet and greet people for 8 hours, 3 days in a row to make a couple $100.
Yeah, and you learn a lot and you start making. I didn't do. If I have to emphasize one thing, especially, I mean, you did it exceptionally smart, factoring out finances, checking everything. I had the fortunate situation. I was still living at home.
Yeah.
So I had my mom to kind of take care of like the rent portion of things, but I paid for everything, all my own stuff and all my own things. But I was able to then funnel all my money into video equipment.
Right.
And start to learn and be able to actually sit there and this and that. So like when I quit my job, I just said, you know what? I'm not happy with where I'm at. I don't enjoy doing this every single day. You're only as good as your last sale. And, it was a very...
You're building something for someone else.
It was a very... Exactly. It was a very, I'm happy. Yeah. But then it's like, well, what do you got going on next week? It's like, oh, shit. Well, I'm back to like the peaks and valleys. So when I quit, it was shell shock. It was crazy for me because even with a sales job that I get commissions and whatnot, I was always accustomed to getting a check every 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's not there anymore.
There's the check. Well, wait, we don't have any gigs right now. There's no money coming in, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, you better go get some gigs now.
Yeah.
And then, when you have to up your prices and you have to up things, and because now this is my main job. I can't do these little spending 6 hours shooting at the gym, and I can't get paid nothing on it.
Yeah.
I got to feed myself, the dog, and it's a very anxiety inducing jump. However, you learn a lot about yourself.
I got a question.
Please.
When you made that jump, how long was the transition period before you kind of got like, you know what I mean? Like,
It was
because you said at first, it's like, oh no, now I don't have a gig. Now
Yeah.
what? You know what I mean? How long did it take for that transition period to go like, oh, I got this?
So it was in June.
Okay.
It was in June of 2018.
Uh-huh.
And I had a job to shoot for Under Armour with my buddy out in Vail, Colorado. We shot this big lacrosse tournament. It was amazing. And when I got home, that's kind of when it set in. And I was like, oh, I don't have anything going on.
Ooh.
And all of July was pretty quiet, a couple of shoots here and there. I was shooting this guy, Arash Rabar, who's one of the big names in classic physique. He doesn't compete anymore, so you might. Yeah,
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, super nice guy, very knowledgeable, amazing athlete. He was like my main guy at the time. And then I was trying to find some retainer clients and find some money. But I had a vacation planned in August already. I went on the vacation and I was miserable. I was like, the first couple of days that I was away, I was in Hawaii. I went by myself. I was in Hawaii for the second time alone, and I was just hanging out there. And all I could think about was, I need to get some business because I'm on vacation.
Shoot.
I'm on vacation and I don't have a lot of money coming in. And it was stress.
You're like, I'm not earning this. You're like,
Exactly.
gosh.
I'm not earning this relaxation.
Worst vacation ever.
It was really bad. It really was. It was really bad. I was super stressed. I remember sitting on the patio of the hotel, and it was just,
why am I here?
Scenic. It was gorgeous.
Like, maybe I can find work here.
I'm on my laptop, and I'm like, I guess I could repurpose a couple of my clients' photos and just like try to get my name out there a little bit more and this and that.
No.
It's just, it was so weird because I was so slammed. But like, as I started doing my own thing and as I started requiring more financially from clients, it became super tough, and not everybody wanted to shoot me anymore. So then it was that transitional period of, well, now you're too expensive for the amateurs. You're just at the pro level, but you really got to start looking for the companies.
Yeah.
The companies are really the ones that are going to pay for they need the regular content. They need it. Well, bodybuilders, I'm not in shape right now. I don't want to shoot right this second. It's like, oh, well, we were
yeah.
So
That's your point.
That was like my main, industry that I was shooting for at the time. Now I shoot all over the place. I shoot for restaurants, businesses, everything like that.
So once you get the ball rolling and you got the resume and you got the
to go back to your
backlog
question, because I'm kind of like
portfolio, then you're like, okay, it's easier to get a client.
Yeah, you start new industries. I had to kind of do the beginning thing where I did a shoot or two for free, and I hated doing that because I felt like I was established. But in retrospect, I've only been doing this since 2018. Like, I feel like I have so much more, no matter what level I'm at, I have so much more to learn, so much more to provide and give, and kind of just keep leveling myself
a good feeling.
up. It is a good feeling. It's a feeling of always being behind. I always feel like I'm behind.
Yeah.
I always feel like I don't know it all, and I need to get on that page. It's a good feeling. It's a bad feeling at the same time, because there's always the back of your head just going, no, you need to know more. Just know more. You're like, I can't take anymore. I got a million shoots. I'm trying to do everything at the same time.
Yes.
But to answer the question, I think it was, let's call it July of 2018. I probably wasn't comfortable until maybe November, December. And even then, I still was feeling anxiety through the winter, because the winter was some of the slowest months I ever had.
Yeah. Jeez. It's good that the reason I asked that question was because I feel like when you become your own boss, or when you're doing your own thing, when you make the jump, you expect, like, okay, now it's like I'm unstoppable, but it's like, then you're not really making use of all the hours during the day that you thought you're going to be making use of. Yeah. It takes a little time to get used to doing that. So after a little while, you're like, should I be doing more? I haven't done as much today. I used to work a job and do this at the same time. What's going on? And you start to doubt yourself. You start to get confused. And I just feel like the people that are going to make the decision soon, or going to make the decision eventually, or have just recently made the decision, they're gonna. I'd like them to know that's like that's normal. That there's a
Yeah.
transition period. It's a learning curve. Seriously, it's got a learning curve. Like it takes a second. And I feel like I've been self-employed for what 7 years now. I think it's 2016. Yeah, about 7 years. And it's like I'm still learning things. Like I'm still getting better. So it's just like it's a practice.
Yeah.
It is literally like a lifelong learning skill practice thing. And you'll go through phases and different things. Because I can remember when I first started, I was like, okay, I'm going to start waking up at 4 a.m. every day, and I'll work until 4 p.m. and then I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to get up and work for another 4 hours. Then I fucking crashed after a month of doing that. You know what I mean? And then I went the opposite direction where I was waking up at like 10 o'clock and skipping breakfast and drinking coffee and going straight to my email and sitting there in a daze like nervous and anxious because I was just drinking coffee and not eating and trying to answer emails ineffectively and then starting my workout late. And it's just like, that was a fucking mess. Before I knew it was 5 p.m., I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, damn, people are getting off work right now. What have I done today? You know what I mean? That was like the pendulum swinging. Like I went in the other direction and eventually it just swings back and forth until you're like, you realize like you're comfortable with it. You're comfortable with where you're at. You're getting a good workflow. You understand it's like you can't base your work habits off of what anyone ever says. You have to figure them out for yourself, and they do change over time.
Yeah, I think just being a student and just learning how you have to adapt and work like you're saying. It's just no day is ever going to be the same. For me, no day is ever the same. I tried it. My mom talks to me all the time because my mom is one of my best friends. I talk to her all the time about just business and life.
Even more important is no season is the same for almost any industry. You have to understand what industry you're working in because you said winter's a slow time for you, right?
Well, it was. It's not anymore.
It wasn't. But at the time it was, and you didn't. If no one could tell you that, you didn't know what the hell is going on. You know what I mean? So that changes your workday too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, no day is going to be the same, but no season is going to be the same, and no year is going to be the same. 2022 is different from 2021, is different from 2020.
Yeah.
2020, COVID year, is weird. 2021, people are all pent up and acting weird, spending a ton of money on shit that doesn't make sense.
Loot.
2020, 2022 year, from March until about August, people are tight. That's the economy moving around, but it also depends on the sector. So it's just, I think it's fun though.
No,
all these changes and variations are super stimulating.
Yeah, I try to get on. I try to get on a schedule. I try to get on a rigid schedule. I'll go to the office. I'll get all my editing done and this and that, and just I get pulled in a million different directions.
Yeah.
If it's not the editing, if it's not shoots coming up, if it's not traveling like we do these trips, it's the busy work. It's the fun stuff, the bookkeeping, going through going through on QuickBooks and having to tally everything up and what does my accountant need? Oh, quarterly taxes and then you look at the clock and oh shit, it's 7 o'clock at night. Like what happened today? Like I thought I was gonna get so much editing done and so much this, and then creative burnout is a thing.
Yeah,
not only on my side but on the content creation side as well. I mean, just having to constantly stay up with trends and things that you have to put out, and here's my schedule for the month, and this is what we have to shoot, edit, and do. It's a lot to handle everything.
Yeah, it is.
So, but I guess the moral of the story is it's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay to you're going to feel these feelings, and it just is what it is. It comes with the territory.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you get to build something for yourself that you're proud of,
right?
That you're happy of.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, you're on your own boss too.
Yeah, which is I don't know if I ever go back to having a boss anymore. Once you have that ability to just go, I'm gonna get XYZ done today, and no one else is gonna. This is what I need to do for me to push the business in the correct direction.
Yeah,
I can't go back to, hey Nick, go make a copy for me. It's like I can't do that.
Yeah, but also understanding like to get the best type of work done and to create the best thing that you're proud of and other people want, like doing the best thing, like doing the best job you can, and like it often involves things that just don't fall in line with what people think of as like what acceptable for a work day. Because early on I'd be like, I can't take a nap. I never took a nap during my work day, and I was never allowed to take a nap, so I shouldn't take a nap now. Yeah. I'm not taking a nap. I'm going to work on my product page,
I still feel guilty if I take a nap during the middle of the day.
Yeah, but now I'm like, I don't anymore.
I do. I still do. I still do. I mean, if I got a couple of years on me, maybe I'll get to that point.
You will. I think you will, because like if for whatever reason I get drowsy at like 10:30 in the morning or something. I don't know. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. If I do, I'll just fuck it. I'll just go like sit down and close my eyes and do one of those Antoine naps. All right, and get up, and then all of a sudden I'm fine again.
Yeah, you feel refreshed.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, I took a nap in the middle of a work day, but then I'm going to be better the rest of the day. So I'm just doing whatever it takes to get the work done. And the other thing is like just knowing this, like, hey, it's 10 o'clock at night. I got to get this YouTube back end up because a scheduled video is coming tomorrow. My editor just pushed the video over to me right now, 20 minutes ago. I got a flight tomorrow to go to film another video with another person. So when is this work getting done? 10 o'clock at night. Right now it's getting done. That's when it's getting done. I sit on a computer from 10 to 11 o'clock at night with Sam, you know, and we'll get it done.
Shouts to Sam behind the scenes.
Sam knows what I'm talking about. It's like work doesn't end. It's like it's always there, but then rest and recovery can come anytime you need it as well. So it's like if I need to take a nap, if I need to take a break at 4 p.m. to screw around and organize stuff for fun in my gym, you know, or just to go out and drive around for a bit or go for a walk, I can. But then I'm going to be working at 10 o'clock at night on something that needs to get done. You know what I mean? It's going to get done when it gets done. I'm going to take breaks when it needs breaks, you know? I feel like every day you should work every day and you should rest every day. Like, I don't believe in, like, full rest days, full work days. You know, like work 5 days, 2 days a week, vacations. Like, no, even on vacation, I think most people would be healthier if they spend like 20 minutes on a laptop in the morning just to get some shit out of their head and then just close it and be done if you're on vacation. You know what I mean? Because then at least you don't have to think about it the whole day.
Because you know you're going to think about it.
You should.
Yes.
If you're an owner.
Yeah.
If you're in an ownership role and you're being responsible, you should be thinking about it. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe a few years from now I'll be more experienced and my opinion will change, but I feel better if I just sit there and dick around on a laptop and get some stuff done for 20 minutes. Good, I'm done. Let's, you know, we're out traveling, we're on vacation, let's enjoy the day. And then there's other days when I'm home and I'm working, it's like it's literally like I'm working almost the entire day. And what am I getting a break? I don't know, eating oatmeal at night with a cat running around for half an hour and then I go to bed. You know, this is the fluctuations up and down, you know, but you just kind of ride the waves, you know. But you know, getting back to what you said about having a routine, I think having a routine, you know, as kind of like a safe fall, like a default, you have to have something there, you know?
Yeah, you have to have some type of a schedule in order. I actually want to ask you one question. Sam, just do me a solid. Can you just make sure that that's still running, that's still running? Good. Red bar? Cool. Just want to make sure. On location podcast out of the studio. I just want to make sure we're good.
Actually, what he just said what he was just looking at.
Okay, yeah, cool. Because you know what? Because I'm not running. I usually run SSDs on these. I just want to make sure. This little.
You got to leave this in a podcast.
Oh, I always do.
You know why you're going to leave it in a podcast? Because it proves a point. If we continue talking, you wouldn't have been as good as a listener because you've been thinking about that. That's the analogy between, like, what I'm saying is, like, you crack open your laptop in the morning, take care of stuff, done. You looked at it, you're good, you took care of it, now you don't have to think about it. The cameras are working.
And I was also thinking about, did you see me leaning on that?
Yeah,
make sure that
look
was still running?
Yeah. So everything's good.
Got to make sure everything's perfect.
Yeah, now you can enjoy the podcast.
I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I really am. I think you showed on social media, which not only was I super impressed with, but I need to adopt in my own Sunday tactic, is the cell phone shut off.
Yes, that's hard for someone in my role. It's really hard.
Oh my God, I admire the hell out of that.
It's so hard.
It's something that I'd love for you to elaborate on.
I would love
why you started.
I'm still trying to figure out the best mix. So it's a work in progress. Okay, so I'm not saying I'm like a pro at this. I'm probably better than most people, but
better than me. So,
but I'm still learning. You know, I've read a bunch of books on this, and I always knew like the phones we have. I pulled my note, but it's on Do Not Disturb over there because I'm on a podcast, right? Do Not Disturb mode, very useful. But it is the most powerful thing. It is it's like you can create almost any life you want with this damn little square and screen you have. But it's also the thing that can ruin your life almost more than anything, because here's how a lot of people's days start. They get up, they grab their phone, and they look at Reels or TikTok for half an hour before they get out of bed. I've known bodybuilders and other athletes who would start their day and just like they wouldn't do anything but just look at their phone for an hour and just look at stuff. I'm like, these are professionals, you know what I mean? And even they're like, it's like someone has gotten that far in what they do, even they're still distracted by that stuff, and how much more
Little electronic device in your
well,
pocket.
yeah, it gets everybody. It's so hard. That's the biggest battle that I think our generation has to fight is the distraction of the fucking cell phone, man. That is the hardest battle to win. So I almost feel like it's a sort of martial art I'm trying to like learn here, where it's just like some of the tricks I've learned is like I'll turn off my phone, I'll turn it off, and I'll put a timer next to it, and I'll put it for like 2 or 3 hours. And it depends on the day of the week whether I can do this or not. But when I have the opportunity, I'll do that. And then for the first 15, 20 minutes, it is obnoxious. It's just like I keep like, oh, I want to send a DM to this person. Oh, I had an idea. I want to send a quick show someone this. I can't. My phone's off. Okay, it's off. I can't just be it off. There's also a timer next to it. So I'll actually also have a little memo pad next to it where I'll write down what I want to do with the phone when I turn it back on. I call it a crumb list. So on my crumb list is like, these are all the things I want to do. I want to go on Amazon. I need to repurchase the short grain sushi rice and short grain brown rice. I want to DM so and so and ask them about this. Oh, I had an idea for this. I want to check to make sure this account is paid for or whatever. All these things pop in your head that you want to do with your phone. The problem is when you think of those during the day and your phone is on you, well, then you go to Instagram instead.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's what you do. You go straight to Instagram instead. It's like, why did my thumb do that? It clicked the fucking icon.
Does it every time.
I forgot why. Even when you walk into a room and you forget why you walked in there. Well, you want to pull out your phone because you have something that's actually probably useful that you want to do, but you click on Instagram instead.
Every single time.
You know what I mean? But when you can't do that, and it's like, oh. Well, then you can write down what you're really going to do, So it's like, dude, I swear, like Nikki, after like 3 hours, you don't want to turn your phone back on. It's like, can I do this longer? But it's like, oh man, I don't know. So that's one thing I do, and then
So just you saying that, and I want you to continue what you were saying.
Yeah.
So I got the new Apple Watch.
Yeah.
I got the new Apple Watch because I traded in my old one. I wanted to start getting back on my sprints and running game and start dropping weight for the new year and this and that. So I basically got this for free. So as I've been using it, though, I had to connect it to Verizon. So it's got Verizon service on it.
Okay.
I walk Kenji around my area. It's a big village. I walk him for maybe an hour every single morning, and I leave my phone at home. And I'll tell you, it has been amazing. Even though I have this on and I'm maybe listening to a podcast here and there.
Yeah.
When I walk Kenji with the phone in my pocket, I pull it out. When I'm bored, when he's sniffing a tree, I'll scroll. I'll check hateful comments on TikTok. I'll be like, idiot. But it's like, I'm just staring and walking, and I'm not paying attention to what he's doing, what he's licking on the ground, driving me nuts with. So I'm like, now I connect the AirPods right to the watch. I walk. Maybe I listen to a song. Maybe I have to answer a call if it comes in. That's it. No texting, no doom scrolling, no nothing. I'm able to just be present, even though I have technology on me.
Yeah. I think the experience of when you actually get and this could happen just on a day. This isn't like something you get good at. Like you could just do this this weekend even. You'll know what we're talking about, the feeling you get from what you're talking about there. And the power of it is days seem so much longer. They seem like they're 3 times as long. Like this day never ends in the best way possible. It's like it's 2:00 and I've gotten all this work done and I'm having such a good time. It's just like you have so much time. It's crazy. And the feeling you feel rich. It's like you feel wealthy. Like the feeling of having a ton of money in your bank account, your wallet. It's like, wow, I feel like safe. You feel safe. And it's just like, that's because that's the feeling you're going to get when you turn off the phone when you have the opportunity on a good day and you've got other stuff done. And like you said, when you're walking your dog and, you got your hair, is that the feeling you're getting?
It's amazing. It really is. I'm able to just focus, walk, look around me, enjoy nature, enjoy like where I'm at because it literally just sucks you in. I actually have to like look up sometimes when I'm just doom scrolling and I'm just like, oh, my eyes hurt.
Yeah.
My head hurts. Because I'm not blinking probably enough.
Well, they've done studies on that where it's like there's a difference between like panoramic vision and just like looking at the screen.
And then seeing everything else out of focus around you.
So one of the things you can do if you're looking at your phone too much is I do that when in my passenger seat of a car. Say Sam is driving somewhere and I'm trying to edit or do some sort of work on my phone while we're trying to get somewhere. And she's seen me do this. Sometimes I'll just have to do this. Sam, have you seen me do that before? Where I'm just looking at my phone, then all of a sudden I just sit up straight. I'm just like this, just like staring. Yeah, I'm just trying to. I understand that doing that and looking off as far as I can is like help, like a rest set for looking at my phone. But at least I'm cognizant to know that this is not good.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get through it as fast as I can so I can put it back away and be like, okay, now I want to stare at a window again.
And then you're getting tech neck because you're craned over.
Yeah.
Suboccipital's getting tight. I was getting vertigo.
Yes, you'll get vertigo.
I was getting vertigo badly from it. I actually used to have to go to my PT and my chiropractor to open them up and just like, because they said it'll tighten up so much that it'll actually restrict blood flow to the brain and stuff.
Yeah.
Bad. It just a plethora of issues that kind of come with it. But once again, it's a device that is so beneficial in terms of like creating businesses.
I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at without a damn
None
smartphone,
of us would be.
dude.
I mean,
like,
none of us.
It's given me the life I want, but at the same time, it's the most distracting thing. So it's the biggest battle and the biggest help I've got. So I'm still learning on how to control. And the other thing is that if my job wasn't to be present on social media and to be so connected to so many people and to be an influence. I hate the word. It feels so dirty when I say it, but it's true. When I post anything, people are like, what shoes you wearing? What hat you wearing? What clothes you wearing? What sprout? You know, they'll ask me a million. I'm influencing people. I've literally influenced them. If they have to ask me about every teeny detail of my environment and my being because they're interested. I'm
gonna start putting it all in the bio.
Yeah,
There's everything that I'm wearing. This is all my utensils. Everything.
This is what a lot of them do. They get sponsored by everything in the world because everyone. There's a reason they do that. One of them is because they're selling out, and the other one is because people literally will bug the crap out of them to know what every little thing they do is. But yeah, as an influencer, you have to be on a lot, and it's just like it's hard. You can't just like disappear. You know, you can't do that. You know, you have
public figure.
What?
You're a public figure too.
You're a public figure, so you just really can't do that. And if you announce it, you can't. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I will. I'll just be like, I don't know. If you see me on Instagram, it's like, how come he posts on his feed like 4 days in a row and then he doesn't post for a week? Because I'm exhausted.
Yeah, well, it takes a lot. That's one of the things I was saying. Creative burnout and just burnout in general. It happens. It's a lot to just not only run the businesses where you sell actual merchandise and products, but you also sell yourself and the name as well. You have the ebooks. You have a ton of different projects that you're constantly working on and maintaining a public figure on all social sites, not just Instagram, every social site. So it's a lot to manage and do. And, you know, listen, I know you have a great team behind you. You know, Sam does a lot of work. You have an amazing editor. So like you have a good team, but even still, it's like, you know, you're the head figure of it. You take the most brunt.
I think it's funny when people assume that's like, oh, it's a 15-minute YouTube video. You work 15 minutes a day. You know?
Hold on, let me pause my laughter on that one.
You get that though. If you had that, it's like people say, all you did was just like a couple things this month. That's not that much. You know, a couple things this week, a couple videos. Like what? All together is like 3 minutes on Instagram and 30 minutes on YouTube. What's the big deal?
It's not that bad. It doesn't take hours to go through the footage and make sure titles are good and get royalty-free music.
I didn't have to fly across the United States for that, or
you didn't.
No,
that was all green screen.
I didn't have to spend $4,000 on lodging and food.
I thought it was all green screen in the actual. What do you call the gym? Is it a barn?
It's a gym home.
The gym home?
Yeah, because I live in it.
Okay, so
it's not a home gym. It's a gym home.
It's a gym home. It's a gym home. I love
that.
that. I need a gym home.
It's a great studio, man.
Yeah, it really is.
Come over. I'll show you. You'll be great. You'll love it.
I will drive down. I would love to come down and see it. I saw all the equipment being brought in there.
Anytime.
The Panada stuff.
Yes, great people.
Yeah, so let's real quick because I do want to backtrack on one scenario and ask you that. But the Panada equipment, unbelievable. I saw you.
Yeah.
You said you hand selected it and the colors and just all the machines.
Yeah. So my introduction to Panada was through Dorian Hamilton. He owns Pure Muscle Fitness in Canada. Great guy. One of the best, probably the best gym in North America. Honestly, like the bodybuilding, the guy like handpicks everything. Like, and just like he's got new equipment in there like every 3 or 4 days. He can't stop. He's addicted to it. So I went to the gym and he was I got to try a lot of the stuff. I was like, this Panada stuff's amazing, you know, and I've never heard of this company. They're from Italy. And then he showed me some pieces and he's like, these are the ones I like, you know, you can skip these. They're not, you know, we don't really feel these are as useful for what we do. And, you know, and I was like, and then he introduced
Real
me.
world feedback, which is nice.
Yeah, and then I got to try it, and I got some feedback from him and from other bodybuilders. Antoine was like, yeah, the decline one. Well, yeah, you do the neutral grip, you lean back a bit. Oh, it's great. You know, like, so I'm actually getting like pros telling me.
We just got the I'm sorry to cut you off. We just got the
Yeah.
at Bev's it looks like a big triangle shoulder press.
Is it Viking press?
Maybe.
Yeah.
You unrack it like this with just the handles.
Okay, no, I don't have that one.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Well, I actually went to Italy, you know, and met Rudy Panada, who's the owner. He's like a 70-year-old guy. He doesn't speak much English. He's still making new equipment, man.
It's awesome.
Like this was at the beginning of this year, and he had 3 pieces in the back. He said, these are the new equipment for the new year. And it's just like, he's just making stuff as a 70-year-old guy. He's still passionate about it. He doesn't have to make new equipment, you know, but he can't stop. He loves it so much. So
As we touched on, let your passion drive you, because you'll
Yeah.
work hard and you'll be able to not only build something for yourself, but you'll be excited.
yeah.
70 years old, still pumping things
It's
out.
so cool to be like, yeah, now I understand why this brand has such good stuff, because the guy cares and he still cares and he's still making stuff because he can't stop because he loves it. You know, that's an awesome company, you know, but they're great people, great products. Yeah. So that's why my gym is just got a crap ton of Panada stuff in it.
It was awesome. I saw the gym reveal and I was just I was like, oh, holy shit, dude. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But once again, something that you've worked hard for all these years.
Yeah.
And something that you're well deserved, and frankly, you need it because of how much content you're putting out, and obviously your training regimens. I mean, think about how much different your bodybuilding prep would have been if you had to go to a commercial gym and you didn't have all that.
Well,
I know you used to have the smaller gym, but still.
Oh, it was super effective. I mean, Antoine coming from pure muscle and fitness, like the gym's insane, you know what I mean? And the first time he came to my gym, it took him a few days because he's used to working out at Pier, which has everything. After about 3 days, he walks out. There's a kitchen in my gym. You know, it's directly like right next to the kitchen's like the chest press machines. Like all the chest machines were like within a foot of the kitchen, and on the other side, it's just like everything's connected real well. I see him walk out of the kitchen. He's got this big fucking grin on his face. He's just like, and he looks at me across the gym. He goes, now I understand. It took him a second to understand what the gym was about, because he had to go back and forth because he started his workout. I forgot my workout drink. Oh, I forgot to put this in my workout drink. Oh, I didn't add the salt in my workout drink. And he's just back and forth in the kitchen. And it's like, and he's got his meal there and he's got a bathroom. And it's like, he's like, I get it now. It's like, it's like the hyperbolic time chamber.
Oh my God. It's
you know,
just perfect.
It's like you got everything you need right there to grow, you know, and it really did help me out. Like I made so much progress in past 2 years in terms of my physique. It really helped out a lot. But I feel like everybody can kind of get close to that experience by just putting a gym in their home.
Yeah.
You know, not a gym, but just having some workout equipment at home. Just like I started out with a dining room apartment gym. You know, my first equipment purchase for myself, aside from like a barbell and some plates in my parents' garage, was a Rogue power rack that I stuck in my dining room of my apartment that I rented. It's first floor. Okay, don't get a second floor. Reasons for not getting a second or third floor is you're going to do deadlifts in your apartment and you don't want someone below you. I always love the joke comments about that. It's like, I'd hate to be the guy below him. I'm like, yeah, I would be too if I would.
Just the dirt.
Yeah, it's just the dirt.
Just the worms.
Yeah. But you know, because the who eats in a dining room anymore?
Nope.
Nobody.
I either stand up in the kitchen like a savage,
Yep.
over my meal, uncomfortable, looking at a video on YouTube. Once again, slave to the phone.
Yeah.
Or I'm sitting down on the couch and I'm watching TV and scarfing something down quick.
I mean, that's
yeah,
the rest of
let's
us
go.
There's
Air high five.
There's nothing wrong with any of that either. Yep. But the dining room is like, okay, so what are you going to do in there? Dine? No. Okay, so the first time me and Sam moved into our first apartment, we actually were like, we're going to have a dining room. We're going to eat in here. And she kept wanting to eat and watch TV. I was like, you want to eat in the dining room with me? And she's like, no, I want to watch TV. I was like, so I'm sitting there eating in the dining room by myself. Fuck this, you know what I mean? So I was like, and then we had a dining room that was useless, dude. I was like, what am I going to do with this room? I was like, what if I put a power rack in here and have my weights and stuff? wait, why not? You know, and she let me. She was cool with it. So I stuck a Rogue RM6 rack in my dining room. It's 150 square feet, and you don't have much space, so use peg wall. You line up the walls with peg wall to hang your attachments. You get like a Spud Ink cable system. It's like a low lat cable pulley.
Like pulley, yeah.
Yeah, it's like $120. They're great. They're really not bad at all. You just load the plates on it. It wobbles a little bit, it swings, but you can get a really good cable system for home use. And then you get a couple barbells and whatever little extra piece of equipment that might be particular to your sport. You got a home gym. You know, in your dining room, air conditioned. It was 10 steps from a toilet, 20 steps from the kitchen, and 10 steps from my office. It's like everything right there. Same thing, a microcosm of what I have now. I loved it. It was so damn cool, and I built my following in there. I did so many stupid freaking videos in that
So
rack.
watch the coffee. You slamming down coffee and
I was making messes and
throwing it
screaming
down on
and
you.
lighting shit on fire in my apartment gym. I was like,
See,
you can't do that in a
see-
public gym. You can't
Everybody
do.
that can't see Sam off camera, she's shaking her
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, so now I have a gym with a home in it, but before I had a dining room apartment gym, and that was just a microcosm of what I have now, and it's great. I think anyone can have that for themselves if they just like, dude, you just have to prioritize your health and fitness and understand that exercise is important and just clear some area in your space, and then just think about what's important to me. You know, I want to get a bigger deadlift with a barbell, some plates, and a deadlift jack, and maybe something to damper the sound if you're worried about that. It's like, just do it. Work out at home. You live in New York? In
Yes.
Long Island.
So I'm on Long Island. So I was
So
living.
I'm going to guess your living space. How many square feet is it?
So I was living with my mom up until May, and I
Yeah.
got my first apartment. So I was living with my mom in a 3-bedroom condominium.
Okay.
And we did have a garage. So during COVID, but it's cold as shit, especially in the winter. So during
garage.
Okay. Yeah. So during COVID, I told my mom once they shut the gyms down and they were going crazy in New York, I just said, you know what? I got to get some gear. I got to get some equipment.
Yep.
I have to. You know, it'll be a positive investment going forward where I can use it and put it in a house when I get a house eventually.
Yeah.
I bought what'd I buy? I bought oh my God. I bought a Rogue rack. I think it's not an RM3. It's the big one. It was a big ass one.
Okay. Mine was an RM6. It was the 90-inch tall one.
That might be the one I had. Yours
Okay.
wasn't attached to the wall, right?
No.
So I got an RM3. I got the shorter one.
Okay.
Yeah. So you had you had attachments
That's a
for
peg
plates and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have that. So I had the RM3, but I got the tall one. I got a 108-inch one. I got
Okay.
the
Yeah.
extra-
See, that would have fit in my apartment. The
yeah.
ceiling
So,
was
but it
too
fit in the
low.
garage. So I got that. I bought a bunch of Alico kettlebells.
Oh wow, those were probably.
Yeah, they were
expensive.
definitely expensive. Yeah. That's where all
Alico.
my stimulus stuff, all my stimulus money went all the fitness. Instead of paying bills and worrying about clients dropping out, I was like, you know what? Let me just get this fitness thing going because I'm miserable right now. First month of drinking whiskey and playing Call of Duty was nice, and then the second month
You're
I was like,
I feel like shit. It's
I was
time to
like,
make a change.
I gotta get it. I gotta get back to the gym.
Yeah.
So I bought those. I bought a bunch of the calibrated powerlifting plates from Rogue. I got a Sorinex power bar.
This is some good stuff.
I got really good shit.
Yeah,
I got
you know what you're doing.
My boys bought me a Kabuki Cadillac bar for my birthday.
Those are good, aren't they?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Amazing. I got a couple of Lico change plates just to have some lighter ones.
Yeah.
I got the landmine attachment so we could do rows and stuff
Dude,
like
you
that.
do like a million exercises with a landmine.
Unbelievable. Well, funny you say that. I started training with my buddy Tom
Yeah.
on Long Island. I have to show you some of his stuff when we're done. Unbelievable. He does a lot of like landmine university crazy power movements that mimic all Olympic lifts, like loading the bar into
I've
the
seen
core,
them, yeah.
throwing them over and stuff like that. Unbelievable workouts. Your heart rate goes through the roof.
Huh.
But so we got all that. We got an assault bike, and I feel like I bought a couple more things. But anyway, so we were training in there all during COVID. And it was an amazing experience.
Mhm.
However, now I have my apartment and the garage is not used. And my mom is complaining to me that I need to get that stuff out. But I literally have no room for it at my current apartment.
Yeah.
So I have to try to figure out. I'm trying to find new office space that I was telling you about.
Okay,
I
yeah.
would love to get something that's more commercial so I can just have a warehouse and I can do
Yep.
not only shoots in the back, but have all my workout equipment there so I can just be there, train, and it just takes out one piece of the equation of, well, I have to go to the office, I have to edit, I have to
Yeah.
get all my stuff ready for a shoot, and I have to go to the gym. Well, now I have everything there.
Yeah.
Throw music on, train, and then
Exactly.
get everything done.
And I feel like there's no reason why you can't have a gym membership and a home gym. I think that both is better because some days you'll be like, I think this workout will be better at home. It saves me time. And then it's like, I'm going to do leg day at the gym because they have all the machines and stuff. Because honestly, you're not going to be able to build the best legs you can unless. If you're trying to build bigger legs, you're going to have to train them like a bodybuilder. If you're going to train them like a bodybuilder, you're going to need some leg equipment. You can't just do squats till the end of time. Even Tom Plass is doing a shit ton of work on like leg extensions and ham curls and other things like that, and hack squat. It's like he did
a hack squat on the toes.
He didn't just squat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. He did not just squat. So, I mean, it's better to have those options. So,
even a video of him and Meadows training together and doing it on his toes on the hack squat machine, going down and pushing up and out. I was like, oh my God, torturous.
Yeah, but it was a hack squat, and most people aren't going to have that in their home gym, but they're going to have a power rack. Honestly, like you can get most of your upper body work done and train it and build a big upper body like a bodybuilder with not much machines. Machines aren't as essential for the upper body, in my opinion. But even if you're like low on space, just get creative. Like if you're in an apartment complex, like a gated one, oftentimes they have the little units where you can rent just to park cars. Have you seen those?
I have. They're not too much up by me in New York.
Yeah, but you've seen them before. You can rent one of those as well and just use that as your garage gym. People don't think about that, or like a storage unit for your equipment. I used to throw stuff in. I used to keep it in my parents' garage and throw it in a car and drive it to fields and cul-de-sacs and dump it out and just like train there and stuff. So it's like
if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, and honestly, it's like. It's fun. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I'm so tough because I did this. I did it because I thought it was cool, dude. I was like, I want to do my workout the way I want to do it. I just want to listen to my music real loud. And I want to film what I want to film. And I want the space. I just want to be free. And I just want to have some stuff. And I just did it. I just find an empty place and do it. And you do that at home if it's your space. And if you don't have space in your home, then just I don't know, take it somewhere else. If there's a will, there's a way. You know what I mean?
I did love training at home.
Yeah.
I did. But I can't agree more that there is a certain feeling that when you go to a gym and, it's leg days or this and that. Like, obviously, if I had the equipment that you have at your place, it'd be different.
Yeah.
But that's something to aspire to over time. It's not something that you're just going to acquire just right out the gate. Like you said, you didn't start that way. It started much more modest and smaller at scale.
It took a long time. I mean, I had my ups and downs. I started in my parents' garage with a barbell and some plates, rings in the park. So I do my ring training in the park, and then we moved into the dining room apartment gym, which is awesome, like I said. Then we moved into the 3-car garage rental thing on a rental house, and it was cold as hell.
So Terrence Ruffin, that's when I wanted to say, Terrence Ruffin actually did that during COVID as well.
Yeah.
He had a little space unit that he rented out and made a gym in Tampa area.
Yeah. And the heating was the problem there, and it was hot in summertime, so it was difficult. But, in wintertime, I noticed you could just close the doors and turn on one of those torch heater things to let it run for 20 minutes, and it would retain the heat if the insulation was decent in the building. You know what I mean? Then we went from there to the barn, which is miserable because if it was cold outside, it was colder in the barn. If it was hot outside, it was hotter in the barn. Whatever temperature you wanted it to be, it was worse.
Okay. It swayed both sides.
It was bad, yeah. But we actually built a 100-foot walkway out there, so you've probably seen some videos of me where it's like I'm on this like walkway thing.
Yeah.
100-foot strong, I call it a strongman walkway, where it's just a walkway coming out of my barn where I have all my equipment in the barn. I just walk it out there and work out outside.
You guys have some rain videos out there too.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
So I still use that thing. That was my dad always laughs about. I was like, that was such a good purchase. It's like, that was such a. He's really like a penny pincher, and he was like, that was such a good buy. Now you really get your money's worth on that.
It's a great feeling when you get your money's worth. I love that.
Yeah, I was like, well, look at the thumbnails on Instagram feed. Like anything on that white driveway, just like the thumbnails just pop, and during the summertime when I'm all like jacked and tan looking, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna click on that. 2020, I got a fuck ton of views, man. I need to do that again. I haven't gotten a proper tan in a while, but yeah. And then we got into the new gym we're at now, but yeah, it's been a process, but it's always a journey. It's fun.
Speaking of the journey, I actually wanted to just see if you could touch on going from having the videos go viral and just what that feeling was like to start seeing the view counts tick, 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 tick. And, obviously there's a little bit, maybe some added pressure on you and to just constantly keep coming out with more. Just what were your experiences like with that?
Well, when it started, I think it's funny because when my first viral video was a chair split with a barbell overhead, the barbell chair split, and things it had gone so many places and so many weird things were happening. Like I got like 100,000 followers like pretty quick, like within a month or so. You know, it's like I went from 3,000 to like 100,000 like instantly. This is, you know, all these people are spreading this. I felt like a kid in school that got in trouble. I was like, oh, I'm about to get in trouble. Like you did something wrong and you're just waiting for the teacher to like to send you to detention. And then a day later, I had my inboxes full of like people want to do photo shoots with me. People want to sponsor me. People want to shoot videos with me on YouTube. I was like, oh, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, at first I was scared, you know.
Well, it's new activity that's coming your way. You don't know really what to expect.
Yeah, it was all new to me, man.
Especially because I feel like you've always been more modest prior to that. I mean,
I've been training for at that point I had been training up for 17 years.
Yeah.
I hadn't made a penny off of what I did. I just did it because I liked it, and none of my stuff ever went anywhere like that. And that was just like I thought I was in trouble. Like, uh-oh, did I do something wrong? And then yes. So it was new to me. And then but see, the process to get to that point wasn't just like I had no idea how I did that. I had done a couple videos and posts before that leading up to it over the course of a couple months that were really like jacked up in views. I was starting to get it, you know. I was like, okay, wait a minute, I'm gonna try this now. So I was basing what I was doing basing off of the analytics. Okay, this is working, you know. It's just like what most people do.
Yeah.
You know, but when you say it out loud, most people probably don't do that, but I was doing it. I was like, oh, this is working, so I'm
you were
gonna do
taking
this.
notice of trends.
I was, yeah. And then I was like,
Not necessarily trends that were on social where you're copying other people. You were just seeing what videos were actually doing well with retention.
So the first one I did was just like a chair split with weight plates. People don't remember that one, but that one was killing it. You know, I was like, that worked out really well. Next time I'm gonna try it with a heavy dumbbell overhead, and then that worked out really well. I was like, wow, that did even better. How did it do even better than the first one? That was crazy. And then with the barbell overhead, I was like, okay, that's what went through the moon. I was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? I was like, I think I get it now. All right. So I started posting more videos that kind of had that feel, not necessarily just a chair split, but I could do a lot of other things, you know? So it's like, I'm going to start posting more of that stuff that has that kind of feeling to it, that kind of craziness, I kind of got it. And I was like, I started to see it more and more. I was like, now I get it. I know what to do now.
When did you kick your first flamingo?
About a year later. About a year later, and then I was filming underwater and filming with horse masks and setting things on fire and using fake blood. Yeah, it's just like it sounds gimmicky, but is it fun to watch?
But that's what I was gonna say. Like you've had fun doing it too.
I did. I had a lot of fun. The original horse mask video I did outside where I was drinking eggs and attacking a barbell. The video idea came to me. That's one of my favorite videos, honestly. Like I was just driving my car, and the song I used for it, it was playing, and then I just saw the whole video from start to finish while I was driving. I was like, what the fuck was that my brain just made up? I was just like,
it just edited everything for you. Now you just
it was all completely
executed
edited, exactly as what people see it online. It's exactly what I saw in my head. I was like, what? Why is my brain doing this? This is so weird. And sometimes it just does that. Sometimes your brain will do things. It's just like you'll just see stuff. It's like, what the fuck? Brains are weird. What is it doing? Write that down.
Yes.
Write it down. A lot of people don't write shit
I used to get ideas about videos I wanted to shoot. When I'd hear a song, I'd be like, oh shit, that beat right there. I know exactly how this is playing out.
You know what I've noticed? I've noticed that when you're driving a car for the first 20 or 30 minutes, when you haven't driven a car for maybe a day, or maybe it's the first drive of the day, you know, if you haven't driven much, is first drive of the day, 20, 30 minutes, and it's a song, dude, a lot of times your brain will just weird things. It's just like you'll see things, you'll have ideas. Yeah, just that's a good time to come up with video ideas, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of I did a limbo video that was really weird. Same thing. I was driving a car and a Tame Impala song I was listening to, and then I saw that whole video in my head from start. I was like, what the hell? I was like driving. It's like I got to remember that idea. You know,
yeah.
You
do a voice note. This is what I got to do.
Actually, yes, I have a little transcription device now. I'll just do voice notes now.
You need it.
Yeah, you do. You need to be able to get that stuff out. But yeah, the more ideas you write down, the more ideas you get. Have you noticed that?
Do you find that it's better if you physically write it down or digitally write it down, or is it the same for you?
It's the same.
Because I feel better if I physically write it down than if I digitally
write it fast enough.
True, without
I'm
question.
just like, I can't write it fast enough. I
Yeah.
have to type it a lot of times, or just voice it and then
And have it transcribe it.
No, that's not to say that writing isn't important,
Yeah.
because the action of actually having a pencil in your fingers on paper and moving your hand on paper is like it's like brain wiring.
Yeah, it literally just like you said, brain wire. It's attached right to it.
Yeah, so I think it's extremely important to actually always do that. It just depends on kind of where you purpose that. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you just have ideas, and then you just get them out.
There's no pen and paper
Yeah,
around.
but if I'm sitting there just like just kind of like brainstorming or creative writing or anything like that, or just kind of doodling, or just like trying to like sketch out like a year, like a periodization plan or something, I can't do that with a voice transcription or typing. I have to write that down. I have to sit there with like paper and like maybe a couple colors even, just mess around.
Getting fancy on me.
Yeah, like a
Hitting a couple
like a
Sharpies.
blue,
Hey,
like
now.
like a Sharpie. Yeah, like a Sharpie bleeds through the other side. Fuck, what was on the other side? I can't read anymore because I wrote in pencil. What am I doing?
It's over.
It's over.
So then, so real quick, so then you obviously you gain in popularity. You get 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
You start creating more and more videos.
Mm-hmm.
What was the? I guess because so many people let it get to their head, and
Yeah.
even you said earlier on when we first sat down, one of the big things is just never letting it get to your head. With the nickname and this and
Mhm.
that, but so many people would let that get to their head. What has been, I guess, your thought process in making sure that you stay even keeled through, tons of natural organic fame and growth?
I don't know. Honestly,
For me, looking outside in, I guess just staying true to who you are.
yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm the best at anything. It's like, how can I act like I'm special or something? If powerlifters, there's powerlifters who crush me, destroy me, bodybuilders who just eclipse me, tricksters that just like I can do a fraction of their skill set. Just everyone's better than me at everything. I'm not the best at anything, but I'm better than most people at more than a few things, I suppose. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just like, even that fact alone doesn't make me feel like I'm entitled to act like I'm that way. I don't know.
Your reaction says it all. No. Like, your reaction says it all. Like that's honestly what I figured I'd get out of it, because you're just a regular guy that's just, that does some amazing things.
Thank you.
Yeah, no,
I appreciate it.
And that's a compliment. I hope you know that's like a no gas, no bullshit, no sugarcoat compliment. You're just, a lot of people would let that get to their heads. The fame and the influx of followers and the following itself of people that run over and wait. I had put a clip up on Instagram and TikTok, and I meant that when I was talking. I forget who I was talking to. I think I was talking to my friend Sabrina on her podcast episode, and I had just said, you are by far one of the most phenomenal people I see interact with fans. You could be beaten down and tired from shaking thousands and thousands of hands all day. And I had just said to you, I said, hey, I know the expo's closing. Do you want me to have the security get you out of here so this way you can go, back to the room? And you just said, all due respect, Nick, I'm going to stay and I'm going to shake every single hand of people that came to see me.
Well, they waited there.
But not everybody has that thought process, especially people that they feel some type of way that they're famous. You actually care, and that shows. There's not a lot of people that are that good with fans, especially. So,
well, it's a privilege to have people come and stand there and wait that long to see me. I'm like, this is fucking crazy, And sometimes I'll be kind of shaking, like when they come up to me. I'm like, what, really? Like,
every interaction I'm
not making fun of them. I'm just like, why me? I don't know. It's just, I feel like, I appreciate that. I do. I thank you. I care. It's just a privilege. But also, it's like, I think another thing is, I've realized like the number of followers and the number of people you have doesn't like give it. It's not a measure of how good you are or how good of a person you are, because I've learned in my life. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering a lot. I'm just trying to get my thoughts out.
No, you're good. You're good. Take your time.
I've learned in my life, like, there's a period when I was like 18 to like maybe 22 or 23 where I was a little bit more arrogant, you know, and I thought maybe I was better than other people because I packed my meals in Tupperware containers and I worked out and I deadlifted. So maybe I was a little more arrogant at the time, but I think I had some experiences early on. Shortly after that, where it was almost like a slap in the face, and I can't name any in particular, but it's like I might have misjudged someone, and I've come to find out that this guy is like a badass at this thing, and it's just not the thing that I do, you know. So maybe he's extremely good at software stuff, and then he helps me with the software problem I have. I'm like, dude, you're good at this. Thank you for helping me. That was so nice. You didn't have to do that. And then I was like, why was I judging him on him being a little overweight? You know, and then I felt really small. You know what I mean? I felt really small. I was like, I can't believe I've been doing this to people. Like, there's some amazing people out there. And just because they don't work out, they're not in shape, doesn't mean I'm better than them. You know what I mean? So I'm careful now. It's like, even people come up to me, okay, so they don't have like 1 million followers. So they're not like, you know what? Like, that doesn't mean anything. You know, this person could be the most amazing family person. They could be incredibly good at all these things that I don't see, but they're there to see me and they're being nice. You know, it's like, this person's fucking awesome probably, and I may not know it. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt most of the time. You see what I'm saying? So I tend to look at people like that more often than not now, and I think that's a really healthy way of going about it because it also keeps you level. And it keeps me level. I think it keeps me level, you know? So I don't know. That's kind of like my process, I suppose.
It definitely I would say it keeps you level. Like I said, I meant it when I said it. I've been around a lot of people, especially in multiple industries, multiple people that have large, small, medium followings, but still have followings.
Yeah.
And I've seen people not handle themselves very well in public scenarios, but you care. And that means a lot. That means a lot to somebody that, like me, if I was to wait online to speak to you, see you, shake your hand, for you to have that level of excitement for every single person that comes over to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot on your end, but you love it. And you're appreciative of this person that, like you said, why me, but took the time to enjoy your content, enjoy you, and maybe get some smelling salts and burn their face off right before a nice deadlift.
Yeah. The thing is, like, also, yes, it's you know, this is not a normal
That one's. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up soon.
Yeah, we'll wrap up soon. It's okay.
One thing is, like, yes, it's not a normal stressor for the human body to have, like, go through like 6 to 8 hours of people coming up to you and, like, new faces, and they waited there for you. So of course it's like, this guy waited an hour. I want to make it worth his time. So then you feel pressured to, like, you know, give them the same energy that the last person had. So it's really exhausting, you know, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? How many people get the opportunity to be exhausted by this? And how many people have a line of people waiting to see them? It's like, that's fucking cool.
Really cool.
You know, that's really cool. So you know what? I'm going to figure out how to hold on as long as I can and be there as long as I can. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm motivated for it. It's like, there's a reason for it. It's not like, oh, I have to endure this. It's like, no, I get to endure this. Fuck yeah. So I'm going to try my best.
You don't try, you do.
Thank you.
I'll leave off on this one. Had me cracking up at the Arnold, this past Arnold. It was the last day. I don't know if you remember, Sam. It was the last day. He was wiped. You could just tell. He was just exhausted. He was about to go out. Last day to talk to everybody, shake everybody's hand, do his thing. And he's just sitting back there. I remember that like it was yesterday. He's sitting back there, quiet, just embracing a little bit of quiet before he runs out there. And then he just, out of nowhere, just, all right, Leroy Jenkins. And he walks right out of the tent. I was like, that's it. And he was on the rest of the day. That was it. Right from nothing to, all right, we got to get out there. Let's do it. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah, it worked.
It definitely did. You were good. You were good the whole day.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to rest here for a moment, and then when it's time, it's Leroy Jenkins.
Well, we got a busy Olympia coming up this week. There's going to be a lot of people looking to see you.
Yeah, let's do it again.
We got a lot more. Yeah, for real. I mean, we
Let's
got
go.
we got an amazing event tomorrow with Rain and Friday too, I believe.
Yes.
A lot of good content on your front, Rain's front. Obviously, this podcast. I appreciate you sitting down with me, taking the time, wanting to be on. A small segment. I don't like asking a lot of the larger following friends that I've made.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want them to think that I'm trying to elevate their followers to come to me. Just not something that I aspire to. I just want to sit down with amazing people and have the conversation. And, when you had approached me about coming on and this and that, not only was I flattered, but I couldn't say yes fast enough. So thank you so much. I know
thank you.
It's been in the making for a couple of months now, but I'm so glad that we actually got the time to sit down. And I need to extend the invite if you ever want to come back on.
Absolutely, yeah.
I would love to have you back on. And Sam next time. I need to get Sam a mic. Look at her.
She's like,
just a mic in the back, so this way she could respond a little bit.
yeah, she just like being a camera. It's okay.
But I appreciate you, Juji, for real. You're the
Was
man.
this your first travel one?
First traveling one.
Hell yeah.
First traveling one.
Good job.
It was amazing. So
Yay, I'm your first travel guest.
it's cool to be in a new scenario, like the scenic, scene in the back. I want to shout out Camp Rhino one more time. And yeah, that's about it. This is episode 41 of Rizology with the infamous Jujimufu. My honor, my pleasure. We got a full Olympia weekend coming towards us. Big Juji, thank you again, brother.
Thank you.